And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics, and now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? As usual, we're going to have a phenomenal show for you today. We're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses. We'll do our new segment, the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey, and the rest of the story. And then on today's show, we're going to have a special segment with our own Sean LaFave. Sean's here on his Geared for Wellness corner. We're going to be talking about health care today, as we do almost every, or twice a week, I should say, here with Sean. But right now, to get us started, I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 81 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 82 on its way to 64. We're expecting some rain outside. It's a little cloudy and overcast. But you know what? First off the top, let's talk about the news. We've encapsulated it and so that we can talk about the 10 things that are hottest right now. And then we'll talk about a little more in depth. These are the 10 things you need to know for Thursday, your daily look at late breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that are going to be talked about all day today and probably all day tomorrow. And right up the top, here's a new poll. Clinton is on the cusp of commanding victory. She's closing strongly, according to an AP GFK poll, or survey, fueled by a solid Democratic turnout and early voting, massive operational advantages, and increasing enthusiasm among her supporters. But we are going to talk about some information that came out with regard to her foundation that may affect what's going on. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And earthquake shake central Italy. Just one death is linked to the pair of strong tremblers, actually aftershocks from the August 24th quake that killed nearly 300 people. And how the Islamic State group aims to defend Mosul? Well, the militants go door to door in villages south of the city, ordering people at gunpoint on a miles-long trek into Mosul and using them as human shields. Well, born in an unusual way, the kids are all right. Children conceived with DNA from 3 people more than 15 years ago at a New Jersey clinic are doing well in their teens, researchers say. And who's trying to stave off the PR nightmare? Well, Pentagon suspends efforts to force California National Guard troops who served in Iraq and Afghanistan to repay enlistment bonuses that may have been improperly awarded. Well, protests to demand an end to the dictatorship. Tens of thousands of demonstrators shut down Caracas's main highway and occupy other key points around the city, calling for the ouster of Venezuelan President Maduro. And what reflects the warming ties with Havana? Well, for the first time in a quarter century, the U.S. abstains from voting on a UN resolution condemning the American economic embargo against Cuba. And milestone for a celeb couple, Ciara is expecting her first child with Seattle quarterback Russell Wilson. The couple famously abstained from sex before their July wedding. And ex-Supreme Court judge among long-suffering Cubs fans. In 1929, John Paul Stevens witnessed the very first World Series game at Wrigley Field, and he's been waiting ever since for a championship. Well, let's see what happens. My son-in-law is thrilled to death that the Cubs won last night. You know, they got shut out the night before. Now let's see what happens in a couple of days when they go to Chicago. Let's hope that they can get that home field advantage and do well. That's kind of what we're hoping for anyway. Now, you know what? We need to talk about some more in-depth information in the news. And right off the top, Clinton appears on the cusp of a commanding victory. Hillary Clinton appears on the cusp of a potentially commanding victory anyway over Donald Trump, fueled by solid Democratic turnout in early voting, massive operational advantages, and increasing enthusiasm among her supporters. A new Associated Press poll released just today, or actually yesterday for that matter, finds that Clinton has grabbed significant advantages over her Republican rival with just 12 days left before the election day. Among them, consolidating the support of her party and even winning some Republicans. I'm going to pick Hillary at the top and pick Republicans straight down the line, said poll respondent William Goldstein, a 71-year-old from Long Island, New York, who voted for Mitt Romney in 2012. I can't vote for Trump. Well, you know what? There's a lot of information in the news coming out about Hillary. Hopefully we'll get to it today. It is disturbing, I can tell you that. Now, the support from my girl, Clinton, is personal, Mrs. Obama says. As first ladies, they could hardly have been more different, but as Democrats looking to fire up female voters, Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton were firmly bonded on Thursday. In their first joint appearance in a campaign trail, Mrs. Obama and Clinton talked up their shared respect, common values, and singular goal, defeating Republican Donald Trump. They papered over a somewhat rocky history and their vastly different paths through public life, with Mrs. Obama aiming to secure her husband's legacy and Clinton needing to propel women to the polls. The two women sought to celebrate their political marriage of mutual interest and reassure voters that it's real. You know what? This actually has to happen. If Hillary does not win the election, then the legacy for President Barack Obama kind of down the tubes. Well, police fire pepper spray and bean bags as they oust protesters. Law enforcement officers dressed in riot gear fired bean bags and pepper spray today as they tried to clear protesters from a camp on private land in the path of the Dakota Access oil pipeline. North Dakota State Emergency Services spokeswoman Cicely Fong said that the officers were responding to aggressive tactics by protesters, including some throwing rocks at officers and threatening them. A male protester was holding his leg after an Associated Press reporter described hearing a loud boom. A protester with a medic bag tended to the man's leg, and he was up and walking a short time later. Fong said she wasn't aware of any serious injuries to officers or protesters. More than 20 protesters were arrested, Fong said. Several were led away and put in trucks, including at least one that was handcuffed. Wow. Can you imagine? You know what? Just bad. That's all. Just bad stuff. Well, you know what? Let's talk about this. Most Trump supporters doubt the election legitimacy. Donald Trump's dubious claims the presidential election is rigged have taken root among most of his supporters, who say that they will have serious doubts about the legitimacy of the election's outcome if Hillary Clinton wins. According to Associated Press poll, just 35% of Trump supporters say that they will most likely accept the results of the election as legitimate if Clinton wins, while 64% say they're more likely to have serious doubts about the accuracy of the vote count if the Republican nominee is not the victor. Of course, I believe it's rigged, and of course, I won't accept the results, said Mike Canalia, 53 years old, a Trump supporter from the New York borough of Staten Island. It's from the top. Obama is trying to take over the country. He's covering up all of Hillary's crimes, and he's controlling the media, trying to make Trump lose. Our only chance on November 9th, actually it's the 8th, is if Hillary develops a conscience and takes matters into in its own hands, the committee said. You know what? Just bad stuff. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about Iraqis find a bomb factory and tunnels on a long road to Mosul. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. And you know what? Iraqis find a bomb factory, tunnels on a long road to Mosul. Iraqi forces explored a network of tunnels and uncovered a bomb-making factory today in a village near Mosul that was recently retaken from the Islamic State group, offering a glimpse of the challenge that they will face as they move closer to the city. 10 days into the offensive, the special forces are still at least 4 miles east of the city and have faced stiff resistance, with the Islamic State firing mortars and machine guns and sending armored suicide truck bombs trundling across the arid plains. Once inside the small, sparsely populated villages that ring Mosul, Iraqi forces must contend with explosive booby traps and hidden snipers. The fortifications are expected to grow even more lethally daunting once they enter Iraq's second largest city. The extremists captured Mosul in a matter of days in 2014 and have had more than 2 years to build up its defenses and brutally root out any internal opposition. The operation to retake the northern city is expected to take weeks, if not months. You know, I mean, go figure, right? Nothing is going to be all that easy, I guess. Just seems that way anyhow. You know what? The UN says that a school attack in Syria may be a potential war crime. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon called today for an immediate investigation of an attack on a school in Syria's Idlib province that the UN's Children Agency is calling one of the deadliest of its kind in the country's 6-year war. UNICEF raised its toll for Wednesday's attack to 28 dead, among them 22 children and 6 teachers. Ban said in a statement that the attack carried out against the rebel-held territory may amount to a war crime if found to be deliberate. If such horrific acts persist despite global outrage, it is largely because their authors, whether in corridors of power or in insurgent redoubts, do not fear justice. They must be proved wrong, he said. Well, you can say that again, you know. Well, let's see here. Oh, you know what? Health law consumers face the least choice in the program's history. Americans in the health insurance markets created by Barack Obama, his law will have less choice next year than any time since this program started. A new county-level analysis for the Associated Press has found. The analysis by Associated Press and consulting firm Avalere Health found that about one-third of U.S. counties will have only one health marketplace insurer next year. That's more than 1,000 counties in 26 states, roughly double the number of counties in 2014, the first year of coverage through the program. With the insurance notices for 2017 in the mail, families are already facing difficult choices, even weighing whether to stay covered. At this point, we are at a loss, said Ryan Robinson of Phoenix. We don't know what the next step is. He and his wife, Nicole, only have plans for one insurer available next year, and the company doesn't appear to cover an expensive immune system modification or medication for their 11-year-old daughter. You know, something's wrong with this whole thing. It sucks. That's all I can say. It just sucks. You know what? Weed as a way of life. California farmers divided on the legal bud. Laura Costa's son and husband moved quickly with the pruning shears to harvest the family's fall marijuana crop, racing along with several workers to cut the plants and drop them in plastic bins ahead of an impending storm. The rain could invite bud rot, Costa said, a big no-no. The farm, hidden along a winding mountain road in a remote redwood forest, is just one of many illegal grows that make up Northern California's famous Emerald Triangle, a rural region developed over decades into a marijuana-producing mecca at the intersection of Humboldt, Mendocino, and Trinity counties. California voters will decide on November the 8th whether to legalize marijuana for recreational use, an issue that has sown deep division here among longtime growers. The Costa family and many other pot farmers have yearned for the legitimacy and respectability that growers of legal crops enjoy. But they also fear Proposition 64 will bring big changes, including costly regulations and taxes, lower prices, and the risk that corporate interests could put smaller operations out of business. God, they're not even legal right now, and they're worried about the what's going to happen with competition. Go figure. God, who the heck knows? I can tell you, Twitter cuts its staff, kills off the Vine app amid pressure to grow. Twitter, seemingly unable to find a buyer and losing money, is cutting about 9% of its employees worldwide. It is also killing off Vine, a mobile video app where people share short video clips that play in a loop. While beloved by users and a pioneer in its own right, Vine, which launched in 2013, never took off with the masses and has lost its luster as of late. Twitter has failed to keep pace with rivals Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram, and in recent months, rumors abounded that it would be acquired. In a conference call with the analysts on Thursday, Jack Dorsey quickly brushed aside what he called recent market speculation. He said the company is committed to growing long-term shareholder value and that he doesn't plan to comment any further on this topic. Boy, I would think not, right? Let's close it down. Millions of people are using it, but what the heck, right? Listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something a little brighter note. We're going to talk about the IRS losers. And the first case today is banks need not turn over a company's funds. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, I promised you some good news, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the IRS loses. But before we do that, I want you to know that at 3:23 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 81 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 82 degrees on its way to 64 degrees. But you know what? If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, well, you know what? It's 49 degrees and there's heavy rain right now. My grandchild Riley Logan's hopefully she's staying dry. She should be. It's 6:23 p.m. there. She should be in her dorm by now. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, it's 50 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. You know what? Let's talk about something really pleasant, but it'll put a smile on your face. Let's talk about the IRS loses. First case up. Banks need not turn over a company's funds. So let me tell you the story. The IRS said that a company marketed illegal tax shelters and sent it a large bill for taxes and penalties. Now, this automatically created a lien against the company's property in favor of the IRS. The IRS then ordered several banks holding the company's funds to turn over the funds to it, the IRS. The banks protested. They went to court. This is what the judge said. A lien gives a creditor, like the IRS, an interest in property to secure a claim. But here, the IRS had taken none of the legal steps necessary to go further and take control of the property, either by seizure or by establishing a receivership for the company's assets. There was no legal foreclosure or final judgment, so the banks do not have to remit the funds. You know what? But sometimes that is just irky that the IRS thinks that they're above the rules, sort of like the Clintons. The rules apply to everybody except them. Anyway, here's one for you. The IRS loses. A judge cannot be overruled without cause. The IRS said that an executive took $3 million of untaxed kickbacks. He said that the money went to a corporation that properly paid tax on it. The IRS replied that the corporation was a sham. The case was very complex, so the tax court sent it to a special trial judge to develop facts and an opinion. Now, the judge held for the executive on the basis of witnesses' testimony and facts that he found, but the tax court then dismissed the importance of the witnesses, read the facts differently, and ruled for the IRS anyhow. Well, they went to the Court of Appeals, and this is what the appeals court said. The tax court must defer to the special trial judge absent clear error by the latter. There was none. So the latter's opinion governs. That's the way it ought to be. How silly. You send it off, and then you don't listen. That figures. How about this? The IRS loses. They did not meet the burden of proving unreported income. You know what? A lawyer reported receiving $138,783 of income over 2 years on which he owed back taxes. Now, the IRS examined his bank records, found $273,409 of deposits, said $237,541 of them were income, and increased his tax bill. He went to court. This is what the judge said. The IRS has the burden of proving unreported income, but here it did not show how it decided which deposits were and were not taxable, or how it had reduced taxable deposits by previously reported income, and ignored actual facts of which the IRS was aware that it offset the essential accuracy of each of those amounts of alleged total unreported income. So it had not met its burden, and the increase of income is dismissed, as you would expect it to be, right? Absolutely. Well, you know what? You've heard me say it many times. Wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff? That's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS. It's very much like Gene Roddenberry's The Twilight Zone. Yeah, now, these are not actual tax court cases, but, if you pay attention to what the IRS is doing, they do set kind of a precedence, and it gives you the opportunity to kind of defend yourself or know what direction to go into. And so here's what we're talking about right now, the most efficient way to obtain a tax-related criminal conviction. The IRS has figured out this already. It's to charge a violation of non-payment of payroll taxes or fraudulent preparation of payroll tax returns. Now, small business owners are especially susceptible to being targeted for criminal prosecution, as these businesses often employ workers who are paid off the books in cash, and other workers who are arbitrarily treated as independent contractors. Let's see. Let me get that there. Okay. And you know what? Here's the deal. Restaurants and contractors employ millions of workers for whom payroll taxes just are not paid. So the latest development, large employers are being hit. Here's an example. Remember Blackwater Worldwide, which provides security personnel to the United States government in Iraq? Well, it's being targeted by Congress for allegedly evading more than, get this, $50 million of payroll taxes. I expect that the IRS is not going to be too far behind Congress in this issue. I'll give you one more. The examination of offshore bank accounts gets the IRS's attention. The IRS has reported that it is investigating more than 100 taxpayers who may be hiding assets in accounts in Liechtenstein. Now, the Liechtenstein Global Trust Bank is the institution that apparently was complicit in money laundering activities of the targeted taxpayers. Now, how the scheme may have worked? Here's the deal. Instead of getting paid for services or for sale of property, the account holders arranged to be paid for services of these things and have the money deposited into the offshore account. The bank issued a credit or debit card permitting account holders to withdraw cash or make purchases. The investment, actually income earned from the assets, was not reported on tax returns. Just sort of disappeared. That's why they call it laundering. It just sort of disappeared like the mud in the sheets, right? So, but you know what? Don't try it. If you're going to do an offshore account, you might as well do it legitimately. There's plenty of legitimate ways to do it without you having to spend weekends away from home in one of those federal resorts. So you want to make sure you're careful about that kind of stuff. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be with our own Sean LaFave in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Sean is going to be talking, I think he's going to be talking about healthcare, but you know what? When Sean and I get together, God only knows what we may talk about, and we're not going to give you a tip until we get into it. So we'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean LaFave, in his Geared for Wellness Corner.
And I I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics, where at 3:34 p.m. Pacific time, it's 81 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 64 degrees, but we're expecting thunderstorms and lightning and stuff tonight and tomorrow. We'll see what the heck goes on with that. But you know what? If you've been watching the World Series, you know that the second game was last night, and the Cubs won that game 5-1. But if you're at the airport in Cleveland getting ready to go to Chicago, I want you to know that it's 50 degrees and it's overcast. But you know what? If you're looking forward to getting to Chicago, just listen. It's the same temperature, 50 degrees, and it's mostly cloudy. So it's going to be the same weather, guys, except that the Cubs are going to win the next two games too. I have it on good authority. That's what's going to happen. Who are you rooting for, Sean?
I'm still rooting for the Cleveland airport. I'm not. It's actually funny. I called my mom yesterday just to say hi, and she said something about watching the game, and my response, which is, this is not the first time I've done this, and I said, "What game is that?"
Oh no!
Or she asked me if I was going to watch it, and then she said, "Oh, the World Series is on." I said, "Oh, it is, okay." So that probably gives you a clue who I'm rooting for. I've heard people talking. Is the Cubs? Is that who's in it? And the Indians?
Yes, the Cubs and the Cleveland Indians.
And the reason I remember the Indians is because someone, I don't know if this was true, but there was an article out that said that Martin Sheen wanted to throw the opening pitch dressed up as that. Remember that movie that he was in? I don't remember what it was, but it was the Cleveland Indians, and he was the pitcher in the movie, and it was kind of a funny movie, you know. But
you know what? I do remember Martin Sheen was in it, but so was his son, and his son wasn't his son the one that was the pitcher, and he was dressed up like an Indian brave?
Oh, I'm sorry, not you know what? I meant Charlie Sheen. I said Martin Sheen because I'm old, but I meant Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Yes, Charlie Sheen. It was the movie Major League. He wanted to throw the opening pitch. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the extent of my sports knowledge. I literally couldn't tell you. You know,
well, I can tell you that Tuesday was a shutout. It was 6-0 Cleveland, and then yesterday the Cubs came back and it was 5-1 the Cubs, and it's sort of like a whole new team, you know. And you and I have both said it. I'm not a big sports guy either, but I watch the championship stuff. I watch the World Series and I watch the Super Bowl and I watch the championship kind of stuff. And I'm not sure. Now I have to tell you the truth because I don't want to lie to you. I actually record it because it actually starts while I'm still on my show. So I actually record the whole thing. But because I'm rooting for the Cubs, I actually fast forward through the commercials and through the Indians up at bat, and then pick it up where the Cubs are there, and I can see the whole score and the whole thing. So I actually only watch about half the game.
You know, that's all I would want to watch. I wouldn't even want to watch. I would fast forward it to the ninth inning and then just watch that. So.
Well, I would be tempted to do that too, but my son-in-law is a die-hard Cubs fan, has been his whole life. Was raised in Chicago, and so this is my way of actually supporting him. Every game. There's only been two, but I generally text him right at the end of the game some kind of a message. But here's something you're going to find interesting. An ex-Supreme Court judge is among a long-suffering Cubs fan. In 1929, John Paul Stevens witnessed the very first World Series game at Wrigley Field, and he's been waiting ever since for a championship and finally got it.
Wow.
Hey, I'm full of interesting and useless knowledge, right?
Man, how you even dug that one up? I have no idea. I got to say, the guy, he's pretty, talk about a diehard fan. I mean, literally diehard.
Yeah.
That's that one. And when was the first championships game that he saw?
1929.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how old was he? Did they say how old he was?
Oh, no.
He must have been a kid.
Yeah, he had to be a kid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That was 92 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Am I doing the math right there?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
88 years ago. I don't know. I'm doing the math backwards.
It was a long time ago. Matter of fact, I think it was 86 years ago.
86 years ago.
And so it's been
I'm not a numbers guy.
Yeah, it's been a long.
More than one digit. More than one digit, I'm totally lost.
Hey, you know what? When you get above 80, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference anyway.
Exactly.
Hey, so listen. What the heck? I know we're not going to talk about the World Series, and I know we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl because that's got a ways to go. We're not going to talk.
We could talk about the World Series. I would just be making up stuff as we've gone along, though. So it would be pretty interesting.
This could be just like the presidential campaign. Both sides are making stuff up along as they go along.
It would be that. Yeah, it'd be just like talking about the presidential debate. Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, did you see the news today? It didn't actually come. I didn't get to do it on my news segment, but it looks like the Clintons have a tough road ahead of them. It's been proven that they have shifted $66 million with another $150 million to come their way. They're muscling people from their foundation to them personally.
Yeah. That's been something people have been talking about. They finally, I don't know if it's the WikiLeaks, I think, or something. Somebody finally exposed it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those things that it doesn't matter. People will still vote for her and she'll get in office, and I'm saying theoretically, I hope this doesn't happen, but, if she got in office, she'll just use her power to get herself out of it.
So do you suppose the Attorney General of New York will shut down the Clinton Foundation like they did the Trump Foundation? I mean, the Trump Foundation was peanuts compared to the millions upon millions of dollars that had been absconded by the Clintons.
No, they won't shut it down. The Clintons are untouchable.
I mentioned, I try to be nonpartisan as much as I can, especially when I'm doing the news and be objective. But the truth is I did make the comment about, nothing's going to happen to them because they're above the law.
Yeah, and I at this point I totally believe it. Yeah,
the rules that you and I have to the rules that you and I have to maintain they're not subject to.
No, they're not, and it's just sad. It's sad to me, to think that she could very well be our next president, and she's just an absolute proven criminal. And she just, I don't know, she's just one of those people that she just lies and lies and continues to lie and figures if she continues saying it enough, people will get tired of hearing her lie and just say, okay, yeah, you're right, please stop lying and we'll just believe you. And I'm pretty sure that's what it's gotten to, at all levels. It's crazy, but anyway.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
I knew we weren't going to talk about this either.
No, we aren't. You know what? I have to confess, I am so fed up and nauseated with the campaigns, both campaigns, actually all four, I should say, but only the two of them that really matter. I just can't hardly stand it anymore. I can't stand to watch it. I can't, it's just driving me nuts. It just nauseates me. It infuriates me.
I've stopped watching it because there's no point in watching it. I'm not going to convince anybody. No one's going to convince me. Yeah. And there's no point in even paying attention. I see the stuff that people post on Facebook, and sometimes I'll go in and actually, like I saw someone, Facebook is one of those things that it's just it's the most frustrating thing out there, but it also can be so, you can really connect you with people. And I saw someone post something and it said, that 55% of government spending goes towards military, and it says something about how our country's being ruined by the military machine. And her comment, she posted this picture, this meme or whatever it's called. She posted this meme, and then her comment on there was actually it's 57%, but we're in semantics at that point. And so, I'm not one to just sit back and let stupidity just walk right by.
Well, the next time somebody shoots a rocket at us, let's just call a congressman and see what he does about it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so I went back and I said, I'm not sure who started this lie that you're perpetuating, but the number you're looking for isn't 57%. It's actually 16%. And then I posted a link to an actual real statistical fact.
Well, yeah, but remember, there's a difference between the budget for military and the budget for defense, and I think that's where the confusion is coming in.
What it was is we have stuff that is allotted for actual, like this money is allotted for this spending in the government. Yeah. No matter what happens, the government has to spend this much for whatever it is that they've allotted it for. And then you have discretionary spending, and the military goes under discretionary spending. Mm-hmm. And so it is 57% or 55 or 57% of discretionary spending. But as far as total government expenditures, it's only 16%. Yeah. And so I had to correct her on that. And of course she's like, well, you don't have to be so, snippy or snooty. And I'm like, all I did was tell you that you were wrong and pointed out that fact, and then gave you an actual real statistical article to support it. I said, I don't know where you're coming off with me being snippy or whatever. I said, it just kills me that there's so much misinformation out there. People will literally post blatant lies about Hillary or about Clinton, or not about Clinton, but about Trump or anybody, even Obama. And I'll go in, even if it's something stupid about Obama who I can't stand, I'll go in and correct, he didn't actually say that. Yeah. All right. If we're going to put it down, I'm with you, but don't make it. Don't make it based on a lie. Yeah,
I'm that way too. You know what? I'm not a big advocate of Obama. I'm not a big advocate of Hillary. I'm not a big, matter of fact, and a lot of legislators. But the truth is, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody lie about them either. Matter of fact, I can remember when McCain was running against Obama, and he had somebody at one of these rallies attacking him, and McCain actually came to his defense. That's what an honest man of integrity does. It's one thing for me to be in opposition to you. It's something else for me to let somebody lie about you or be misinformed about you.
Right. Yeah. Don't perpetuate the lies. But speaking of something that you can't defend, I'm sure Clinton would love to try to defend it, but I just don't see how anyone can. Is speaking of Obama, so now we're back on health topics. Is Obamacare?
Yeah.
It is beyond a mess. In my opinion, it is maybe the largest, most blatant criminal act perpetuated on the American people is at least in modern history. And it's not just illegal. It's to me, it's a crime on so many levels. It's evil, and I think it is part of one of two things. Either Obama and everyone who supported him are so completely inept at their job.
Well, here's the fact.
They push through a system that is so horrible that
and you're right.
They should not be allowed, or they set us up for something.
Hey, Sean, you're turning blue. Yeah. Take a breath.
All right.
Here's the thing, and you're absolutely right. We, however, do have, for the first time in the history of this country, the lowest percentage of uninsured people that we've ever had. The problem is that the people that are insured are paying through the nose. They don't have the coverage they should get, and they're going to get a 25% increase in their premium starting next year, and they're going to get down to they're not going to get to choose their insurance. There's in many places, I think I read in something like 26 different counties, they're only going to have the choice of one insurer, and that insurer is not going to cover you 100%.
No, and your premiums are going to be through the roof.
Yeah,
it is, and if you can't afford it, we're going to fine you for it. We're going to give you a tax. Yeah. It is the first time that I can think of in the history of this country, maybe not the world, but at least of this country, where the government has found a way to tax you for not purchasing something.
Yeah, no, and I will say this though, Sean, and that is that for these people that are getting nailed, I mean, young people that are healthy and they don't have any choices, and they're having to pay $5,000 and $6,000 a year for their premiums. It's an easy decision if they're healthy to say, hell with you, I'm just going to pay the $500 penalty and be done with it. And I'm not going to pay. I'm going to save $5,500.
I would rather pay the penalty than pay the premiums.
Yeah.
I don't do personal health insurance, and I know that sounds crazy, especially at my age. You go, you don't have health insurance? Oh my gosh! Well, what if? And everybody loves some of the what ifs out there. I'm like, you know what? I take care of myself. I don't need health insurance, and I just think it's an absolute criminal act that I should have to pay a fine for not participating in a system that I don't feel I need to participate in.
Do you carry burial insurance?
No, nothing.
Well, because that's okay, because somebody's going to put you under the ground, right?
Yeah. Well, I say just stick me on a big stack of logs and pour on a couple gallons of gasoline and go to town.
I've told my wife, I've told my daughter, I've told my son, I've told my grandchildren. This is what happens when I stop breathing. I want you to give any parts that anybody can use. Give them to them. Let them have them. And then I want you to cremate me. I want you to fly me over Washington D.C. and dump my ashes on the top of the IRS.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I don't really care what they do with my body.
I am joking. I'm joking about that.
I know, but that is funny. But yeah, it's just I don't really. I'm just maybe I just don't think about it. But it's not really if somebody wants to do something with my body, they're welcome to do whatever they want. Bury it, they want to cremate it. The only person I could think of who's really gonna really want that is probably my son. And maybe I should have some sort of burial or cremation insurance or whatever, I suppose. So, but I don't know. But the point of that is, going back to the Obamacare. Obamacare is such a.
Doesn't the service do that for you? I mean, you're a veteran. Doesn't the service do that for you?
They might. I'm not aware.
I think they do. You need to look into that because
I will look at it.
I think that the service provides that service. That I'm being redundant, but provides. Yeah, that
you know what? I actually, I think I am entitled to some sort of military burial now that I could even they could even request like a 21 gun salute. Yeah. I think all you have to be is a veteran and not retired. So yeah, actually, I think I am afforded that, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. I don't even need the insurance. I just need to have the paperwork ready for whoever wants to have me buried.
Yeah, they could always shove a pole up your ass and hang you at half mast and say, here hangs. No, I won't go there. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I like that old there's an old country singer named Joe Diffie, and this is country song that he's saying. It says, "Prop me up beside the jukebox when I die," and I want to go to heaven, but I just don't want to go tonight, kind of thing. And it's true. Like everybody wants to go to heaven, and we just don't want to go right now. Can I wait? But that's kind of me too. Just kind of maybe I can be embalmed and they can just set me up at a bar next to the jukebox and put a cowboy hat over my eyes and call it a night. But I'm not a big. I don't know. I'm not one of these big sentimental people that I have to have a specific, burial plot, or I don't care if I get a headstone or.
Well, talking about that, and this is a bad transition to go into, but we've got, what do we got here? We got 6 minutes to go. Here's the thing. I sent you an email because you were complaining on Tuesday that I didn't send you love letters. So I sent you some emails, and one of the ones I sent you today I found really interesting, and it dealt with liver transplants. And did you get that?
Yeah, about the hepatitis C.
Yeah, you want to talk about that for a little bit?
I didn't get a chance to read the entire article.
So here's the deal: they're doing these. They're buying people time by giving them those liver transplants. They are most likely going to get hepatitis C, but they're doing these transplants in the hope that they're going to come up with a cure before they die from hepatitis C.
Yeah, it's. I guess if you're at a point where they go, look, you know what? Here's your option. You can take the liver with hepatitis C, or you could be dead in a few months.
Yeah.
I guess take the hepatitis C. If it's a matter of take the liver with hepatitis C, or you got 2 years, okay, I'll wait it out.
So this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, Sean. The insurance is going to cover the liver transplant, even though it's got the tainted liver. It's going to cover that, but it's not going to cover this new medication that in 85 doses cures hepatitis C. So you're going to die anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just can't imagine that that's a viable option that most people would consider a good idea. That would be, to me, an absolute extreme last-ditch effort, just to keep you alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, wasn't that what cryogenics was all about? Wasn't cryogenics all about, hey, freeze them and hopefully they'll come with a cure down the road?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can keep you frozen until they figure out how to fix you. Of course, your whole family's dead by the time they give up the cure for this stuff.
Yeah.
They thaw you out, and like your grandchildren are older than you. So yeah, it would be interesting. But I can't imagine that. You look at the quality of life with hepatitis C. Like think about it. Okay, if I was a single guy and I was abstaining from sexual relationships and those kind of things. Like, okay, there was no chance I could possibly pass it on to someone else. Okay, would that be a viable option? Possibly. But what if you're married? Then, okay, now you want to take the risk of passing that on to your spouse.
Well, can you spend just a couple of minutes and explain what hepatitis C is and what it does?
Other than hepatitis C is a bloodborne illness, I've had one patient ever that I can think of who had hepatitis C.
And it's terminal.
What's that?
And it's terminal, though.
It's terminal, yeah, it's terminal, yeah. I mean, it's bloodborne, and it destroys your liver, long run, and it will eventually kill you. They have meds out there that are extremely expensive now. They've gotten even more expensive than they were before, but they've got meds that supposedly will help. But they
have meds that'll cure it with 85 doses. The problem is it costs $1,000 a dose. It only costs $120 it costs $85. No, it costs, what was it? $1.20. It costs $1.20 to manufacture.
It was like, wasn't it? I thought it was close to $100,000 for the full series of the entire dose or something.
Well, yeah, it does. It is, because it used to cost $1.20 is what he did. Somebody bought the patent to it and raised the price to $1,000 a dose. Takes 85 doses, so it's $85,000 plus if you take the cocktail mixture of this thing, it raises it to $95,000.
So we're talking almost right at $100,000.
Yeah, you know what your insurance says? You're going to die, sucker. No. You're going to die, sucker.
Yeah, they're not paying for it. Yeah, exactly. Good luck. Take care.
Yeah.
Have a good life. A short one, that is.
Yeah.
So, I can't. This is just, to me, it's, to take a liver from someone that's got hepatitis C, that just doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, hepatitis C, it's one of those things that, like I said, it's out there. I don't think it's super, super common, but, it's common enough. Mm-hmm. It's a problem. But, it is very contagious. You've obviously got to have, liquid to fluid, body fluid contact, sexual relations. I don't even know if kissing.
Well, yeah, but you know what, Sean? It can't be too uncommon, because the drug companies actually developed a cure for it. They don't bother with stuff that they don't have a market for.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't know what the death rate is from hepatitis C. It's pretty far down the list. I'm sure it's probably not even in the top 10. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to look at it. But like I said, it's just something that, maybe I don't deal with anybody, because there's really nothing that's, other than support the immune system, support liver function and kidney function, and, maybe help the person live a little bit longer. Well, a person with hepatitis C, there's not a lot that you can do for them in the natural healthcare world. It's just, you're so limited.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're getting ready to go on a break, but I also sent you another thing that I thought was really enlightening, and that is that they have these prosthetics now that let people feel touch and pressure. And so let's talk about that when we come back from this break, if you feel up to it.
Sounds great.
All right, we'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. We're going to be talking about a new development in prosthetics that are unbelievable. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics, where at 3:59 p.m. Pacific time, it's still 81 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? If you're in Torrance, California, it is 75 degrees and it is sunny and it's clear. I don't know how it can be sunny and clear. It doesn't look like it out where I'm at. But you know what? If you are lucky enough to be in God's land in downtown Wichita, Kansas, it's 77 degrees and it is also sunny and clear. That's kind of hard to believe too. But our own Sean LaFave is going to be heading out there that next week. So I just thought I'd give him a little hint about what the weather is going to be like.
Well, actually, it won't be next week. It'll be in a couple weeks, but next month for sure. Well, next week I'm going out to somewhere a lot prettier.
You're going to meet? You're going to meet with not Sarika, but who did you tell me you're going to meet with?
Well, actually, Sarika might be there. I'm not sure she's going to be there. I'm actually going to a seminar out in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, hey, listen, do me a favor. I just came back from Vegas. Could you visit some money that I have on deposit there? It's just getting really lonely.
Yeah, sure. I'll go ask for it back. I'll say, hey, Robert misses you. Go home. Come on, buddy. Come on, money. You're drunk. Go home.
So, speaking of that, I'm really looking forward to next Thursday's show. You're going to be here in the studio. We're going to be doing it live together. It'll be the first time you and I have ever broadcast live together. Well,
from the same studio room at the same time. Real radio microphones and everything. I'm excited.
Yeah, I won't have to tell you to take a breath as you're turning blue. You'll be able to see when it's time for a commercial that I want to say something to you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a good show. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So hey, listen, let's talk a little bit about this new development.
Prosthetics.
Man, is that exciting or what?
It's very cool. It's something you assume that over time we're just going to have to. Well, we have to. There's no reason why you ever have to. People used to wear hooks on their arms, but you would think that technology would want to get to the point where we make it as real as possible. And it's kind of neat to think that someone can reach out with a prosthetic hand and pick up a marshmallow as easily as they can,
and not squash it.
And not squash it. Yeah, exactly. Or for sure you're going to grasp a glass of water and not break the glass.
Yeah.
I don't know how strong those prosthetics are, but I assume they could do that. Yeah, I think that's a neat little. I don't know. You look at stuff like this, you watch it grow and develop, and think about what prosthetics were like. I mean, even just a few decades ago, people had wooden legs, and now they've got all these carbon fiber things, and they've got stuff that you can see people walking down the street and you can't even tell they have a prosthetic unless they're wearing a pair of shorts or something.
Well, that's true. And how long will it be? Excuse me. How long will it be before they actually create prosthetics that you can't even tell that that's what they are?
Yeah. it's a matter of time. Where the skin, the synthetic skin looks like real skin, and everything. Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating. But how cool for the person who needs the prosthetic to be able to have that sensation. Obviously it's probably something that I'm assuming it's going to go off of like some sort of pressure point on the part of the arm where the prosthetic hand is attached.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be something like that. But can you imagine if you got a little baby, you're afraid to pick that baby up because you don't really have the control of that pressure. Now all of a sudden you're going to get to hold your own baby and not worry about hurting it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exciting.
Speaking of, it sends chills up in my spine. I just think it's wonderful.
Speaking of, I think it is too. I think it's stuff like that. And I mean, you tend to like, things like transplants and prosthetics and all those things. So I always expect articles like that from you. And so when I get them, they're I know that we're gonna have fun talking about them. Yeah. But speaking of babies, an article that you sent me not today but earlier. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but about this, and this is something that I have been saying for a long time, and a lot of people have been saying for a long time, is that studies are now suggesting that babies should sleep in the room with their parents.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that, in fact, even when it comes to things like SIDS, children who sleep with their parents are far less likely to have SIDS. They used to tell people, well, don't sleep with your baby because you might roll over and suffocate the baby, or whatever. They came up with all kinds of weird, stupid reasons not to sleep. But the Japanese culture, where it's very, very common, or at least it was, a few years ago, for the parents to sleep in the same room or even in the same bed with the child, the rates of SIDS were far, far less than they are here in the United States.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who have attributed that to the fact that the child is right there with the parents, Yeah,
I mean, I mean, it just sort of makes sense, doesn't it?
I mean, think about it. What is there in this world that can bring you more peace or more comfort than human contact?
Well, unlike animals, when humans have babies, they are totally dependent on their mom and their dad. They can't function. They can't do anything. They're totally helpless. And so, I mean, can you imagine putting them in another room down the hall? It really doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, it doesn't. And there's a lot of things that we were told to do. Remember, they used to tell the dads, you just go wait in the waiting room, and when the baby's here, we'll come and get you.
Yeah, both of my kids were that way. I remember when my daughter was born, or my son too, for that matter. I was in the waiting room, and they didn't let fathers in the delivery room at that time. But I could hear what was going on in the room. It was right behind me, in the excitement and everything else. But what a horrible thing to miss out on.
And I'll tell you it is. And I think that we did, I don't know what perpetuated that. I don't know what started that horrible way of delivering babies. But, I think it robbed an entire generation or two generations, or however long it lasted, of men from seeing, to me, I was there. I was there. I actually caught my son when he came out. He was born at home on our bed. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you to this day, it's the single coolest thing I've ever experienced. I mean, nothing I've ever experienced, I don't think, in this life will ever beat that. And it was just amazing, to watch this little person come out. It was.
And it's got to create a bond between human beings like nothing else I can even imagine.
Yeah. It's unexpected. I can remember when he was, not even an hour old. Of course I caught him, and then first thing I did was, hand him to his mom, and and then a little while later, I got to hold him on my chest, and I just remember it was, he was laying on his stomach, he was laying on my chest, and he lifted up his head, and he looked right into my eyes, and that was, it was over 21 years ago now, and I will never forget that, ever, in my whole life. I mean, I can still see exactly what his little face and his little gray eyes looked like when it was like he looked up to me, like, to make eye contact, to go, hey, good to meet you kind of thing, you know? I mean, it was just, it you know, obviously it was just a response, but I mean, he looked me dead in the eye, and it was so powerful. And to think that, you know, we robbed so many men of the joy of that is just beside me, you know, beside myself with that.
I remember when my son was born, Sean, and gosh, I was so proud. Of course, I didn't get that same experience that you did because I wasn't allowed to be in the delivery room. But I remember when I finally, the first time I really got to see him, he was actually in the nursery. I couldn't even walk into my wife's house room and see him. I saw him on his way to the nursery, for Pete's sake. And I remember going to the nursery and seeing him, and then I couldn't wait. And I went out and I bought a couple of boxes of cigars and went to all my friends, and I dragged all of them down to the hospital to see my son. I said, boy, he is big and he is strong and he's all this stuff. And when I take him in there to see him, and the nurse would bring him to the window, holding him in the palm of her hand, I thought, he was big when I saw him the last time.
he had muscles and everything. No, it's just there's nothing, you know. And it's so funny, you know. You have these people that, you know, they've got pets, but they don't have kids, and they're like, "Oh, my pets are like my kids," and I'm like, "No, they're not." You know, you may think they are because you don't know what it's like. You have nothing to compare it to, but you know, there is nothing that will ever replace the joy that you get from having your own children. It really is an amazing thing, and to watch it happen in person. To watch a baby being born. Oh my gosh! I mean, someone posted a video of a water birth, which obviously if I could go back and do it over, I would have it done this way.
Mm-hmm.
But, where the mom is like kind of in a jacuzzi, like looking, soft tub kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
It's like about her, chest. And I was watching this woman give birth, and it was like all of a sudden, she winced, and kind of tightened up because the labor pains hit, and here comes the baby. She catches the baby herself and pulls the baby up to her chest, and you're looking at it going, it looked totally effortless. I mean, yeah, she pushed, but it wasn't like she wasn't thrashing around. She wasn't yelling at anybody.
But the water birth is more for the baby than it is for the mother, isn't it?
It's for both, actually. It kind of for the baby, they go from a water environment into a water environment,
mm-hmm.
and then you pull them out of that water environment up to your chest,
mm-hmm.
and so it's supposedly less of a shock for the baby because the trauma of going through the birth canal.
Mm-hmm.
They come out of that and they're like, okay, I'm still suspended in water. This is a cool thing, and then they're gently pulled out of water instead of through the canal.
Well, I picture it as being a little bit like a car wash.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. There's the little thing that shoots out the bubbles. You got the little cloth brushes that are cascading back and forth.
Well, you know what? I think we've gone far enough. That's far enough. That's good enough. This is getting to be too visual here. Let's get back to the miracle of childbirth.
But for the mom, being in the water, actually, it takes away a lot of the stress on her body of being in a normal 1G environment. It actually puts her in more of a weightless environment, so the stress on her body is far less than it would be, if she was. It's easier for her to sit upright. And of course, you want a baby to be born. The woman needs to be as upright as possible, and so it puts her in an environment where she doesn't feel like gravity is her enemy. She's actually comfortable and she's warm and she's feeling supported from all sides around her. It's supposed to be, from what I understand, very soothing.
Well, you're talking about kids. I sent you another article today too, in that dealt with children in migraines, and this study showed that children who have migraines do better with sugar pills than they do those really potent pain pills. Did you see that article?
Yeah, I did, and I would love to find out if the reason why is because kids nowadays, a lot of their migraines are because of sugar addiction. Sugar is an incredibly. It doesn't say a placebo; it says specifically sugar pills.
Yeah, it does. It did say sugar pills. I just assumed that a sugar pill and a placebo were the same thing. They're not.
Well, I'm assuming most people would probably think they are, but normally when they want to talk about just straight up a placebo, meaning no effect, they're usually a starchy kind of thing. It's not just like a sugar, but I wonder if maybe the sugar is, kind of what's kind of feeding the need. Because kids now eat so much sugar that I wonder if it's a sugar addiction. I don't know. I mean, that was my first thought. I didn't say anything like that in the article, but I also believe too, and this is something I actually just had a conversation with someone probably 2 days ago about this. We were talking about. I know it was a little bit. Oh my gosh! It was last weekend. I met this couple. I was actually out at the American Legion and talking about liver transplants. This is actually a kidney issue though, but their 13-year-old grandson was 2 years ago was diagnosed with kidney failure.
Oh, gee.
That's at 11. Can you believe that? And of course, they put him on kidney dialysis, and he was just miserable and on and on. And then they took him to another doctor after a year of this, and the second doctor said he doesn't need to be on kidney dialysis. This is ridiculous, and took him off. And so he's been off of kidney dialysis for a year. And they were, it was so funny. It was this. I was at the like I said, the American Legion. I'm sitting there. All the boats are kind of going in and out of the harbor, and it's just such a beautiful day. And it was really busy. And this couple, like a retirement age couple, they're walking by, and you could tell they're kind of looking for a table. And I hear the wife go, "Honey, I think there's one down there at the end." And I said, "Hey," "you guys looking for a table?" I said, "You know what? I'm almost down here." I said, "You guys can go ahead and grab my table." And they said, "Well, okay, that'd be great. We'll sit with you and talk for a little bit." They go, "Fully right away, whenever you're ready." And so, I introduced myself. And so over 4 hours later, I was still sitting there talking.
Oh, what a nice story.
Yeah, and they were the most wonderful couple. They live up in Lake Forest, and so they asked me about what I do, and so I told them about what I do, and that's when they started telling me about their grandson, and they said, "Well, can that be fixed?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I as long as the kidney's functioning, it can be fixed." And here's where I'm coming back full circle to what we were talking about with the children and I said, "Here's the cool part." I said, "Kids." It's like that whole saying, you have to have faith like a child. I believe that children respond better to, especially natural treatments, but to any treatments in general. But I believe they respond better. We get better results from them, not because they're younger and their body's more resilient or it's better at repairing. But I believe that when you tell a child, "See, here's what we're going to do, and you're going to get all better," they just go, "Okay." And they believe you. They have no reason to doubt you because they're not cynical. And they just have faith. If you say, "Here's a pill, and it's going to make your migraine go away," they go, "Oh, right, that's cool because my head hurts so bad."
Well, Sean, taking that a step farther, isn't that the same thing as giving people a positive mental attitude about catastrophic diseases?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it is. In fact, I remember reading this, this was 15 years ago, maybe more. I remember reading an article about people who have a fatalistic attitude towards whatever it is, whether it's their heart disease or, diabetes or, whatever it is. My family's always had this, so I'm going to get this, and then this is how I'm going to die. The people who settle with that fatalistic attitude, that mentality of this is just my lot in life, that they're going to succumb to that. But the people who say, "No, I don't have to, I don't have to end my life the way, or my life doesn't have to end the way it did for my family or for the way that, I'm supposedly predispositioned to in my genetics," that those people with that positive mental attitude are able to overcome even a chronic condition or a terminal condition that otherwise, I've seen it time and time again where people go, "There's no reason this shouldn't happen."
I can tell you, my sister was married to just a wonderful, dynamic man. He died at a very early age of a brain tumor, and doctors' prognoses were pretty dim. She started doing research, and I mean, my sister is just really a smart gal, especially when she's motivated. And she started doing in-depth research, and so much research that she, like you, believed that diet had an awful lot to do with all of this stuff. And she got a hold of his diet and changed his diet and did these things and bought him a much longer time than what the physicians had ever said with a reasonable quality of life that went along there. And she learned so much from this research that experts around the country, I think around the world for that matter, would actually call her to discuss her research in these areas. And she's, she was not in the medical field at all. She was just interested because it was her husband that was afflicted. Yeah.
And that's, and you think about someone like even, you remember Erin Brockovich.
Oh, sure.
I mean, look what she did. She wasn't an environmental specialist. She wasn't a toxic specialist or whatever, case might be. She just found chromium in the water and she said, hey, this is a problem and it's killing people. It's making people sick and we need to fix it. And she knew, that this is affecting my life and the people around me and it's got to be fixed. And boy, what a change she made. And she was just the average layperson.
Uneducated, and she did it through research.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Sean, we have got to take a break. What are we going to talk about when we come back? We're going to stay on this positive mental attitude?
Oh, yeah. We got, there's a couple more articles. I'm trying to think of another one that you sent me that was really good. We'll pick an article when we get back. We'll surprise everybody.
Okay, we'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave in the Geared for Wellness Corner. Don't go away, folks. We got a great show coming up for you.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
Oi, 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 oi.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:22 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 81 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, well, it's 45 degrees and there's got a shallow fog going on. If you're in Rome, Italy, it's 54 degrees and it's cleared. If you're in either place, you're one lucky son of a gun. But I'll tell you what, talking about lucky son of a guns, we're talking to our own Sean LaFave in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Hey, Sean, let's talk about a positive mental attitude.
Oh, okay. Absolutely. We were talking about how like that affects, terminal illness, chronic illness. I mean, everything, even like a kid having migraines. And I do believe, that there's something that we grown-ups can learn from children, and that is, sometimes you have to accept things at face value, and it's hard for people. It's funny. I've got a client out in Wichita, Kansas that I started him on my program just before I left, and it was just over a month ago. And you know what? And it was funny because he had just picked up his nutrition. No, I think he had just signed up, and I had to order some of his nutrition in, and he was just getting ready to come pick it up for me. And he called me up and he said, "Hey, Sean," he goes, "I'm not sure what to do." He goes, "I'm in financial straits right now. Something came up, and I think he had an extra job that maybe he had to cut back on or something." And he was kind of looking at me, yeah, exactly, right. I can actually hear that one. And he was thinking maybe he would need to get his money back from the program that he started with me. And I said, "Well, let's why don't you come on into the office and we'll talk about it?" And I wasn't going to tell him, it's too bad you paid. I'm just not like that. But I was certainly going to say, "Hey, look, here was our goal. Here's why we did it." Try to remind him, this is what you're working towards. But by the time he had actually made it there, he had already talked himself into, I need to do this no matter what. And so he took his nutrition, and he was just because he told me, he goes, I really enjoyed all the information that you shared. I believe that you have the answer to my problems. And that was key right there, is he believed that my program, he goes, "I've looked at all kinds of things." He goes, "And I guess I believe that this is what I need in my life." So I called him, was it 3 days ago, just to follow up. And so it'd been about a month, and I thought, well, gosh, normally I hear from people, they'll ask me questions, they'll either complain or they'll go, "I don't know sure what does this mean or why, but I hadn't heard from him for a month, and I thought, well, I should probably call him, because I put him on a 3-month program. So I called him up, and we got on the phone yesterday towards the end of the day. And I expected him to say, "Well, I'm not sure about this," or I kind of got, whatever. Man, I tell you what, I said, "Well, how's things going? How are things going, with the nutrition program and stuff?" And he said, "Man," he goes, "I feel so amazing." He goes, "I'm on the second phase now, month 2. He goes, I've stuck to everything." He goes, "I've done everything on time," which as a practitioner, when you hear that, it's like the angels singing, because you're so used to going, "Well, I went on vacation, so I missed a week. And then, my kid's soccer game, so I forgot like 3 or 4 evenings in a row." And then, you hear all these excuses, right? This guy was like, "No, I've been real solid." And he said, "Sean," he goes, "I haven't been sick once." He goes, "I've been sick all the time." He said, "I've been sick once." He goes, "I started to feel like I was starting to get sick, but by midday it was gone." And he goes, "I have gout." He goes, "I've had gout for years." He goes, "Sometimes it's so bad that I can't even pull the covers up over my feet, over my toe hurts so bad that I have to sleep with my foot outside the covers." He goes, my gout is gone." And he goes, "That's another thing." He goes, "My biggest problem was I just couldn't sleep at night." He goes, "I'm sleeping like a baby now." And I'm like, this has only been like a month and like not even a full week. And I'm just going, wow, this is, I love hearing that, I mean, this guy has
but it probably wouldn't have been as effective if he hadn't followed your instructions.
Right, exactly, yeah, and that's exactly it. He followed the instructions because he believed. And the other thing was, he's lost, since I last saw him, which was, like I said, just over a month ago, he's lost 23 pounds.
Wow.
And it's like, wow, 23 pounds in a month. That's awesome. And he feels great. And that's the cool part, is you can lose weight that fast, but you just have to do it the right way. And I firmly believe that it's not just that my program works, because it does. But I believe that a big part of why he feels so much better is that his attitude from the very beginning was, you know what, even though financially, you know, right now this is going to strap me hard, I know that I need to do this because this is what is going to make me feel better. And when you have that kind of commitment, the kind of commitment where, you know, I've seen people, you know, tell me, wow, you know, gosh, I don't know if I can really afford this right now, and they get in their BMW Z4 and drive away, you know. Yeah. And you know, it's like I know you can afford it, or you know, I know you could come up with the money. It's just something else in your life is a priority. You believe that something else is going to make you feel better, whether it's going out with your friends for dinner and having drinks, or it's buying a new outfit, or it's, you know, go on a vacation, or whatever it is. You think something is going to make you feel better than restoring the health to your body is going to make you feel. And those people, they tend to, ones that hem-haw, I actually shut them off. I go, you know what, I don't know that you're ready for this right now. And I mean it. It's not a sales tactic. They go, no, I am ready. It's that they genuinely aren't, because the people who you have to, I've learned the hard way, the people who you have to continuously convince that they need this program to get healthy, those are the people that get the worst results. Always, every single time. And the other thing, and when you and I have talked about this one before too, is the people you give stuff to away for free are always the worst clients. Yep. Always. Because they don't see the value. When someone goes, gosh, like this guy here, you know, he's like, look, I'm broke, but you know what? You know, I already committed to this, and you know what? It was $1,000. You know, it wasn't like, you know, he paid me a couple $100. It was $1,000. For some people, $1,000 is like, yeah, sure, nothing here. Yeah. You know, those are the people that have the hardest time selling it over, the ones for whom it's nothing. But this guy was like, you know, $1,000. He really could have used it, but he said, you know what? I need my health back more than I need my financial security. And when you have that kind of faith in something, it's going to make you better. You know, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, when you tell me you give a kid with migraines a sugar pill, yeah, and it works, it's probably because you believed it and he believed it, or you came across as confident, he believed it, and that was all it took. You know, and it could also be that maybe he's got a sugar addiction too, which, you know, a lot of kids, unfortunately nowadays, a lot of adults sugar addiction is huge in our country, in our world. They have proven now, they believe that sugar is more addictive than cocaine, like not just a little bit, but significantly more addictive than cocaine.
You know what? Yeah. It's interesting you would say that. I hadn't thought about it, but I suppose that it's got to be true. Think about kids and candy and stuff like that. Now, I'm not a big sweets eater, but every once in a while I do crave a Butterfinger, you know, or a frozen Snickers, or a frozen Snickers. I love those too. And so, but I don't, you know, I bet you I don't have, I bet I don't have 3 Snickers in a year, and I'll bet I don't have 6 Butterfingers in a year.
Yeah, that's more than I have, but Butterfingers are one of my favorites too. I've loved Butterfingers for as long as I can remember. Butterfingers, M&M's, just, you know, and it's so funny when I go to the movies nowadays. I don't really usually get anything because the food is just so bad for you, you know. But every now and then I'll break down. I love hot buttered popcorn with M&Ms. Shove a handful of popcorn in, shove a few M&Ms in, and chew those up together. And oh man, that's like heaven. But M&Ms and Butterfingers are my 2 favorite candy bars.
It's got to be fun to watch you and Sally at the movies, huh?
We're all sticky by the time.
So here's the thing: the M&Ms melt in your mouth, not in your hand. But that buttered popcorn, now that's something else again. Then you're gonna put your arm around your girlfriend, and you're gonna wipe all that butter on her sweater, her sleeve.
You get home and like, baby, why is your hair so greasy? You were touching it during the movie. Stop.
Yeah. So you're going to Las Vegas, and then didn't you say you were going to Falstaff or Flagstaff?
Yeah, so I'm going to go. I think I'm actually probably end up coming back to California first. I've got to take care of a couple things there before I leave. But I'm going to Las Vegas for the seminar. I'll be there for I guess a total of 4 days, and then I'll probably end up coming back here. And then I'm going to go to Flagstaff. I'm going to go see Sarika, of course, and but I also want to look at maybe possibly setting up an office out there as well.
Oh.
So
you're thinking about moving away? You thinking about moving away from Newport Beach?
No, well, you know, I love Newport Beach, and you know, this whole area, you know, it's just, I love being around here. But as far as business wise, for me, for making good business sense, if I'm going to base my business out of somewhere, Arizona is the best place for me to do that.
Oh.
And I love Flagstaff. I don't know how much time you spent there, but Flagstaff is just an absolutely fantastic town. And
I've driven through it a couple of times.
Oh man, I tell you what, I have stopped there. I love it so much. I've stopped there so many times that I've actually gotten my hair cut there twice. Yeah, so it's one of those places that I love to go visit. The culture there is wonderful. There's all kinds of neat little shops, the downtown area, and it's off of the interstate. Your interstate.
There used to be a fantastic French restaurant there called Etienne's, and I'd stop there and eat there once in a while when I was working at the Revlon Corporation. I'd have one of the employees. We'd be driving to different places. And we'd stop in Flagstaff, and there was this place called Etienne's, and it was a French restaurant. It was fantastic. I don't know if it's still there anymore. Probably not, because this was years ago. But
I don't know. They got there's some restaurants there that have been there for quite a while, some older restaurants, and it may very well. I'll have to go check it out while I'm there. I love French restaurants. French food is just amazing. But yeah, I'll have to check it out. But I love Flagstaff. Everything about it. The weather, it's surrounded by all those. I love evergreen trees. So it's green all year long, and they're up there in good altitude, so the air's clean, and Sarika is there.
So there's a reason for going, but unfortunately for you, Sarika's happily married, and she's has a wonderful family. So
unfortunately for me,
unfortunate for you.
Unfortunately for me, and fortunately for Sally.
Yes.
And I'm sure she appreciates that comment.
You know what? As usual, I wasn't thinking. I opened my mouth and stuck my foot right in it.
That's all right.
But all I really
a lot more stupid things than that. So.
But all I really meant was that Sarika is just a wonderful, wonderful lady.
She is, and that's just amazing. The thing about her, she's physically a beautiful woman, but it just the way she speaks, the way she treats people. Yeah. She's just a gentle soul, and she's just one of those people that you genuinely love.
We have not had her on the show. We haven't had her on the show for a while. We need to get that done.
Yeah, we need to get her back on. I agree. In fact, I'll talk to her about. Maybe we can do it. Maybe while I'm up there, maybe we can just do it while I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know she has family out in. I want to say it's Camarillo or somewhere around that area.
Oh, up in the Santa Barbara area?
Yeah.
Camarillo's south of there, yeah.
Ventura County, anyway.
Yeah.
And so I know she drives out there from time to time. Maybe we could set it up one of these times that we can have her meet at your place, and we can all do a radio show together.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, that'd be fantastic. So listen, let's talk about some healthcare.
So you sent me another article that I found really interesting, and of course, I love anything to do with autism. And this article that you sent me talked about how right now scientists are looking at autistic girls more so to try to find the answer to autism. And because the way girls express autism is very different to how boys express autism. And what they're saying is, when most people think autism, because boys are more than 4 times more likely to get autism than girls are, most people think boys automatically when they think autism, because it's a huge disparity. And boys are far more apt to get it. But what they're also saying is that because of the way girls express autism, it's not always so obvious in their younger, like 3-year-old, when they're 3 years old or 2.5, that it's not until they're maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 years old that you really go, okay, this is more than just a girl who's a little awkward. There's something going on. Mm-hmm. And I found that interesting. The article, it talks about, one of the things it talks about is how, their brain is able to process things differently than a boy does. And when you think about it, men and women, boys, girls, whatever you want to say, we're wired differently. Everyone talks about how men are very, very much able to compartmentalize things. And for women, they're not. Everything is like, I think it was that Gray, I can't remember his name, that wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Yeah. And he talks about how, men's brains are like little compartments, like little boxes. Everything goes in its own little box. Well, with girls or for women, everything is like, it's like a bowl of spaghetti. Like everything's just all intertwined. And you can't. When you tell a girl that don't worry about this thing over here. It has nothing to do with this other thing over there. They go, no, it's all interconnected. To them, doing laundry is totally connected with what's going to happen during the holidays, or what's going on at work is totally connected with the car not working, or whatever. Like men are able to go, this has nothing to do with the other one, or women just go, no, it's all interconnected, and this all one thing relates to another. And I think that way of our brain being wired maybe helps girls to not become so socially awkward, at least in the younger years. As they get older, it becomes more obvious.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a pretty interesting way to look at it. One of the things that the article didn't talk about, which I thought was really curious, is, of course, one of the things they did talk about was, we're trying to figure out why it is that girls, express autism differently than boys, and maybe this can help us create a new drug, and on and on. Of course, it's always about, let's find a new drug, a new way to make money. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that we've known for quite some time, and is a real prevalent topic that's talked about during autism when it comes to boys versus girls, is estrogen is protective in nature when it comes to neurological stuff like this. So the estrogen actually protects the girl from whatever it is that's attacking, the heavy metals, the pathogens, the virogens, all these different, the viruses, all these different things that might go into whatever is attacking the central nervous system. That the actual estrogen that a girl has protects her, even though it's not a lot yet at a young age. It's still enough, and that actually testosterone is actually excitatory, and it promotes this, and that's why boys.
Well, and that's exactly what you meant when you said boys and girls are wired differently. You know what?
Yeah.
Guess what time it is?
It's time to put the boys and girls to bed because the show's over.
Well, no. The show is not over. Only your part of it is over. I still got 22 minutes to go. Don't be sending anybody away here, Sean.
Well, the Bob and Sean show is over, but yeah. now it's just a Robert Cardoza standing out in the middle of the street, not getting hit by a truck part.
And I've been doing quite good at that up till now. Listen, what are we going to talk about on Tuesday? Any idea, or am I going to just be sending you stuff during the week?
Yeah, send me stuff during the week. I don't really have anything set for Tuesday, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Maybe Tuesday we'll talk about what we're going to talk about on Thursday as well.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, my friend, have a great evening. Have fun. Stay safe. Keep everybody around you happy, will you?
Same to you, Robert. Thanks. I had a fantastic time, and I will talk to you on Tuesday.
As usual, magnificent show. Thank you so much. The rest of you folks, stick around. When we come back from this commercial break, we're going to talk about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We got a lot of great show for you. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 81 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's down from 83 degrees on its way to 63 degrees. But we're expecting some thunder and lightning tonight and tomorrow, so we'll see what the storms have to do. But you know what? If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in London, England, it's 55 degrees and it's overcast. If you're in Vienna, Austria, listening to our show, it's 41 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. And just because I know my sister Shirley is calling, if you're listening to us in Lisbon, Portugal, it's 72 degrees and just a little bit cloudy. But right now, I want to talk to you about the Harvard Business Tip of the day. And the management tip today is get people to respect your work at home arrangement. You know, when you work at home, it can be a challenge to make sure that others respect the arrangement. Perhaps you have a coworker who makes jokes about you slacking off while they're all at the office, or who regularly forgets to include you in meetings. You may not be able to change their opinions, but you can request that they change their behavior. Instead of having the "no, I'm actually working" conversation, make specific, actionable requests and keep enforcing your boundaries. Say something along the lines of, "I miss the headquarters sometimes, but this arrangement works best for me right now. By the way, I'd like to call in to your Friday meeting with the team. Or please copy me on the emails about this topic from now on. It's part of my role." You know what? You got to stay in touch. You got to stay connected. That's exactly what's going on. That's really great advice. Whether you're in business, as an employer, an employee, a manager, or just a human being, it works. Well, you know what? It's time for the secret daily teaching for your life. You've heard me say it many, many times. Matter of fact, Sean and I just talked about an hour worth of positive mental attitude. You really control your life. You control every part of it. You decide if you're going to be happy or sad, rich or poor, a success or a failure. You decide if the people around you are going to be happy or sad. You do that every morning. When you get up, you look in the mirror and you say, "Wow, I'm going to have a fantastic, productive, profitable day." Well, you know what? Our lesson for today is decide what you want to be, do, and have. Now, think the thoughts of it, emit the frequency, and your vision will become your life. It'll just, one day, you'll be shocked, just automatically happen, just by a miracle. Well, you know what today is. Sure you do. It's Thursday. It's October the 27th. And yeah, it's somebody's birthday. Well, we've got some terrific birthdays today, so you know what? We might as well get right to them. Interesting if you think about it. Here's a fellow who was born in 1858 and he died in 1919. When President McKinley was assassinated, he became the 26th President of the United States. Happy birthday, Theodore Roosevelt. And here's somebody else that was born in 1873, died in 1960. An author on etiquette. Her book, Etiquette, was a bestseller. Happy birthday, Emily Post. And then finally, born in 1984, actress and model best known for being the daughter of Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne. Happy birthday, Kelly Osbourne. Well, you're wondering what happened today in history? Wonder no more, because I'm about to tell you. On October the 27th, 1904, the first underground New York City subway line opens. The system becomes the biggest in the United States and one of the biggest in the world. And on this date in 1973, the Cannon City meteorite, a 1.4 kilogram chondrite type meteorite, strikes the Fremont County, Colorado. And then finally, on October the 27th, 1994, the United States prison population tops 1 million for the first time in American history. Boy, wouldn't it be nice if we could get it down to that again? Unfortunate, right? Well, you know what? Our quote for today comes from somebody we all know, from Sir Winston Churchill. And Sir Winston says, "It's a good thing for an uneducated man to read books of quotations." Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Matter of fact, it's a good thing for an uneducated man just to read books. That's what I think. Well, you know what? It's time for those interesting but useless facts. We've got a number of them here, so we might as well get to them. We've got a couple of minutes to work on them. Did you know that Hawaii has the highest percentage of cremations of all other U.S. states, with a 60.6% preference over burial? Maybe they just have some common sense, huh? How about this? There are around 280 different species of squirrel. My son-in-law's mother would call that roadkill. That could be on the diet. Anyway, I'm not going to go any further with that. Did you know that Imperia, Italy, is the home of the Agnesi Historical Museum? You ready for this? Of spaghetti. Yes, of spaghetti. And did you know Americans spend $10 million a day, ready, on potato chips? Yeah, that's kind of interesting if you think about it. Yeah. How about this? The most popular name given to boat owners, boats, is, you get it? Obsession. That's the most popular one. Yeah. How about this one? Did you know that Warren G. Harding's middle name is Gamaliel? Ugh, poor guy. How about this? No wonder he just used the G, right? Try this one on for size. Matter of fact, let's see here. A picture of Gandalf the Grey from The Lord of the Rings can be seen in the collection of great wizards and Professor Dumbledore's study in Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, I don't even know why that's important. Try this one on for size. The rumble that is created when a Harley's engine runs has been patented by the company. Yeah, I guess so. It's got its own distinct sound, doesn't it? Sure it does. How about this one? If you come from Manchester, you are a Manchurian, a Mancunian. Yeah, Mancunian. Who cares? Do you know that insects have 3 pairs of legs? Yeah, you knew that. Well, let me leave you with this one. The Oprah Winfrey Show started out as a local morning talk show called AM Chicago. The name was changed in September of 1995 after Winfrey beat Donahue in the Chicago ratings. The show was expanded from a half in from a half into an hour, and then went nationwide a year later. Well, I messed that up, but all it does is shows about her success. I'm going to leave you with this one. 35% give to charity at least once a month. That's something for you to know. Now, do not go away. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. And today's story is Christmas night. And I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. You don't want to miss it. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And it's time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. Yes, sir. You know what? Paul Harvey was he's the biggest and best voice in America, reveals the startling heartbeats behind the headlines. In today's story, Christmas night. Christmas Eve, 1776, a silent, swift race with the devil. A race against time, actually. In the darkness, a quiet panic gripped. You know what? That's not the one for today. That was yesterday's. How about today's? Bells, bells. Once upon a time, there was a speech therapist, a school teacher speech therapist whose compassion for deaf children was so great that he drew up plans for an invention. This invention, said the therapist, would hear for the deaf, would render sound waves visible and identifiable to those who could not perceive them otherwise. If the therapist's machine was a success, his little deaf students would be able to see speech as others hear it. The machine was a failure, almost, because in the process of time, that unsuccessful apparatus became the telephone of today. The speech therapist, the school teacher who started out working with deaf children, was Alexander Graham Bell. But you just think you know the rest of the story. Now, if it's time that true that behind every great man is a woman, then it was doubly true of Alexander. There were 2 women in Alex's life, 2 ladies who greatly inspired him, his mother and his wife. Bell's mother, Eliza, was a teacher. She directed his childhood attention to acoustics and particularly to the study of speech. Whenever Alex set about on his various youthful enterprises and hobbies, Eliza was always there to encourage him. But she never interfered. She never got in his way. She knew that Alec would have to find out certain things for himself, and he did. It wasn't long before Alec and his brother had invented a machine that could talk. It had lungs and vocal cords and a mouth and a tongue. And what were its first words? Mama, of course. Yes, there can be no doubt that the original Ma Bell was a marvelous inspiration to young Alec. In fact, so concerned were Bell's parents that Alec speak English without an accent that when the young man finally came to teach school in Boston, no one can tell that he was even actually born in Scotland. Enter Mabel Hubbard, the second Bell in Bell's life. His future wife. Mabel's daddy was one of Alex's earliest acquaintances in Boston. She, the beautiful young daughter, had recently returned from school in Germany. From there on, the story of Alexander Graham Bell and Mabel Hubbard weaves the romantic tapestry of the 19th century novel. She, youthful, lovely, rich, and he, brilliant, ardent, and poor. Together, they would encounter the traditionally romantic obstacles of parental objection, despair, ridicule of his genius, and, yes, they eventually succeeded. Fame and fortune became theirs, and yes, they lived happily ever after. Mabel's daddy even became first director of the Bell Telephone Company in 1877. Of Bell and his wife, it was once said, their story is as thoroughly unspoiled and charming as a story can be. It was true. Mabel, like Alec's mother, Eliza, inspired Bell through love and through a devotion to him, and perhaps in many ways through something else. Alexander Bell's primary interest was speech and speech therapy. His occupation, first and foremost, was his work with those who could not hear. Isn't it ironic, then, that his beloved students could never benefit from his most celebrated invention, the telephone? Yes, it is even more ironic when you consider that Bell's Bells, his mother and his wife, the two women who inspired him the most, could never fully appreciate it either. For they also, his mother and his wife, they too were deaf. And now you know the rest of the story. Wow. Well, on tomorrow's show, I'm going to join John Matthews and Joe Hakos on our semi-weekly simulcast of the Conservative Politics, and then David Garrett's going to be here for Garrett on the Law. You know what? We'll continue our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Tomorrow's story, let's see here. It's going to be Winchester Cathedral. You're not going to want to miss that one, that's for sure. Now, I want to encourage you to tell all of your friends about our show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. They'll be glad you did. I'll be glad you did. And you'll be glad you did.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.